My name is Kenneth Mayfield. I'm a visual designer with experience in mobile development and building metaverses, currently within Unity, and we'll see where that takes us in the future. So I'm also an advocate of autistic individuals and their accessibility to employment and to longevity. So what we'd like to do is present a generative profile builder for autistic, ADHD, and dyslexic individuals. Now, the issue that we are dealing with as autistic individuals is low employability or opportunity for employment. We found that as autistic individuals, we can have maybe 24% of us with consistent employment. The LOET, or the League of Extraordinary Talent, is our effort to rewrite these rules, to represent ourselves in positive light. We're very good at focusing. We're very good at detail. We're very good at understanding perhaps where groupthink may be operating within an organization. But typically, we're not so good at interviewing and not so good at presenting our CVs through algorithms that may be filtering us out. A typical issue with autistic interviewing is eye contact or body language. As you see, I'm rotating here and I'm looking around. These are forms of stimming to relax oneself, to calm oneself as an autistic individual. But if I avoid eye contact with my interviewer, that will convey to a neurotypical mind a lack of trust. So the purpose of the LOET is to show us in a different light. Some issues like this are easier to present to an individual if you look at them sideways. And this gets into a question of representation. What we'd like to build with SingularityNET's and deep funding support would be an algorithm to connect generative AI, as offered through SingularityNET as a current service, to our WordPress site or the League of Extraordinary Talent website. We'd like to build the ability for an autistic or neurodivergent participant to cycle through and generate a comic book hero representation that they're happy with. And this is a very, very focused project. Essentially, what we want to build is an interface through their user profile on our website to show themselves in this style. And I present to you the League of Extraordinary Talent. Now, as you can see here, there's a wide variety of somewhat accurate and non-accurate shapes. We'd like to have different body shapes, different representation of skin pigmentation, different hair, and different exotic representations of self. So from the user profile, if we're able to build an algorithm that generates a controllable result, then we can start to integrate this into an autistic talent's profile, into their business card, into AR representation, and eventually into a comic book where we can step through where a user's talent is and where they're developing the next talent to be. That will build comic book frames of themselves to show to potential employers and clients based on this style. How are we for time, sir?
1.5 minutes.
My goodness, I'm getting better at this as we go along. Okay, so what we'd like to do in this sense, this will be the style of a person's individual profile page, except for the balloons themselves. These describe the LOET. The balloons for a personal profile will describe my talents. I have 1 year experience in developing interactive arts. I'm developing an ability with generative AI. That becomes a style of frame that's unfinished and then fills in as talents are developed. Now, this is inspired almost directly by Hundo, and they know of this. They're proud that they're inspiring other efforts, and that they want to build a new paradigm for how Gen Z can record their abilities and develop their CVs. And this is parallel to that effort, focusing specifically on our neurodivergent groups. Okay. So we'll go back to the presentation. The milestones will be to do a lean document, which has been successful for us in terms of our strategy. And then app and UI development. We'll hire out for WordPress-based programming, which is primarily PHP. And then we'd like to work in how to derive prompts using language models from a person's profile. And then build and shape that into a series of strings that we can customize for each user. to develop a relatively consistent set of results. And the consistency is almost impossible to get entirely with generative art, but we can get partway there by using standard prompts and evolving them as generative AI evolves, and using base images like these cartoon images. And then, of course, onboarding and hosting. Okay. So thank you for your time. We hope to have your support, and we hope to see you in the LOET world.